I remember to unmute myself, unlike last time where I forgot to mute myself. Anyway, we're back. This time we have Cool Cats and Kittens facing off against... Did I have to my title? No, I have. With Cool Cats and Kittens facing off against Game of Thrones. Which I think Cool Cats and Kittens, I believe, were around last season, at least. I don't know how many seasons have been around, but Game of Thrones, I'm not as familiar with. So it should be a good series either way. Why has that disappeared? Dragonshire. Cool. We bring back those maps at bottom. So, Cool Cats and Kittens and Game of Thrones. Div A. I used to be Div A mod before the divisions were merged for this current season. And I've been kicked to B West, which there are Division B West people in chat that I do know. So, should be a good series. I don't know who first picks, who maps picks, as I say, for all replays, because that is not information that I have on hand, as I would need to almost spoil myself if I were to look at it, which I don't really want to do. I do like the surprise. I do like not knowing. Have I actually picked this series up properly? Caster tools. My casts. Past casts. I have. It just hasn't ticked over yet. Cool. Good to know, good to know, good to know. Right. No, this should be a good series. Either way, I do like where we're going first. Dragonshire is actually one of my favorite maps to play. I do like offlane in saying that, so I may be a little bit biased. My favorite offlaner isn't here, but there's still some pretty good ones at that. So we'll be in the game in a few moments. Just have to bear with the load times, because, well, there's not much we can do about load times in these instances. So we'll just be a little bit patient as that opens up. So, Dragonshire it is. As the heroes prepare for combat. We do see on the left-hand side for Cool Cats and Kittens, we have Crazy for Haruno on the... I think this is Cool Cats and Kittens. Let me find out. Do I have a team's right way around? I should really check this beforehand. Yeah, we have Beowulf. Yeah, cool. So Crazy for Haruno is on that Hogger. Lubidium is on the Brightwing. Beowulf on that Folla Dollar Bill with that Kira. Pushover is... Oh gosh. Probius and Horvath is on the... What is this comp? Is on the Anubrak. Now obviously Top Gun 707 is on the Imperious. Beachy Man sliding through, getting good stun with that ETC. Mojo E is on the Phoenix. Mr. Hustler in danger. Beowulf on top of him. Well, as I say, he is the KTZ. Not often you see Calfazard come out. And last, certainly not least, is we do have Bella27 on Ana. Beowulf keeps going in. Oh, the interrupt from WV. Actually, Beachy Man pushed Kira off the Spear of Top Gun. So actually, Kira gets to take a little bit less damage than they may have if things did go Imperious's way. But right, we see the teams pushing up now, Bella getting rest of it. So, meanwhile, mid, Beowulf and how... I just keep seeing Beowulf does nothing but go in, is what I've figured out. Nice spear by Imperious, however, as Horvath, not exactly the tankiest of tanks, so we see Probius and Horvath taking a decent amount of damage. And the rest of the team of Game of Thrones just backs out to safety. Which they are going to start doing camp. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do see Pushover doing their own. This is weird drafts, man. I do like when drafts get funky. I don't know if I think Cool Cats and Kittens will win this map in particular. I think I may give that to Game of Thrones a little. But it's honestly, it could be they could surprise me and just pop off. We see Mojo E in danger. Oh, come on, Horvath, dive. Coward. No. Fair enough, that is under tower. Towers are scary. He didn't quite have vision on where the team was. Pushover, very excellent on their positioning. Thank you for joining, Lubidium. I hope you're doing well today. Or Lubidium. It is true, there of course Cats was best of Kittens. And there are many cat teams around, so it's sometimes hard to tell which it is, but for this match at least, it will be Cool Cats and Kittens having the coolest kittens and the best kittens and the coolest cats. But no, we do see Imperious goes to Spear, Beachman goes to Slide. A little bit of a split there, depending on what they want. But we see the Calfazard chains did come out, didn't quite find anything. I always find it is weird pushing into a Calfazard. But you do have a lighter comp. You have one kind of bigger frontliner. And we do see Spear coming out. Nice cleanse by push onto pushover by Lubidium. We see a lot of damage coming out. Beachy Man for one in danger. Will eventually go down. That Probius finding a last little Q to take from out. Speaking of which, let's have a look at talent. So are that Q talent level 1? So they're actually going for more mobile. I'm going to poke you and you are going to get very annoyed very soon style of play. We see Beowulf pushing out Mr. Hustler. Doesn't quite find that backup Q. We see Brightwing isn't able to do it as the flip did come over by the Phoenix at up top, which not the easiest thing for them to push into. We do see Libidium did phase shift up for Crazy for Haruno. But meanwhile, bottom, we do see Top Gun has gone past, does spear in. We did see that someone went up, but we do now see that is in danger. That will be one going down. The burrow by Horvath. Horvath having to push that W. They do have a move speed up on that W, so will ultimately be fine. But now bottom has been flipped. Phoenix was watching mid that whole time just to make sure Brightwing could not steal it, but no, back to bottom. We do see chains coming out. There's a lot of danger. Push. Once again, I don't know if that was correct by Beachy Man. I feel like Horvath and Beowulf have been gone bailed out. Beowulf in particular has been gone bailed out a few times by those ETCWs, whether it's been on a spear or with it. Are you going to pick a talent at level 4? Good. What about your level 7? Come on. Do it. Pick a 7. Good. Right, let's go all the way back down here as we do have the teams coming out. Right, there's a nice double stun by Horvath, however pushed away. Nice swing by the Beowulf. That Kira getting in. Beachy Man getting low. And they will go down to the end. Top Gun actually threads the needle with spear. Doesn't quite find anything. Also, just so you know, tell off your... Lubidium, if you're still here, tell off Crazy for Haruno. They didn't pick their level 4 till their level 7. Do that for me, please. Alright, we'll call them out in chat like, hey, what the hell was that? But no, we do see the full force of Game of Thrones throwing at mid. Nice double stun by Horvath. Won't be able to get the cancel on... We won't be able to stop Beowulf getting interrupted. But they still certainly can try. Top Gun stepping up. Does spear. Lubidium still fine, though. Top Gun seeing if they can step in again. Does spear in. Nothing to stop him that time. And actually, Lubidium taking this amount of damage. They have to cleanse themselves. They did go that cleanse build, but they won't be able to escape. That Imperius doing so well. And interesting, we see Lamau, we know it's his classic. God damn. But no, we do see that there's finally a split away. Beowulf is the one in danger this time. Doesn't quite have enough health to get out of danger. Meanwhile, we see Crazy for Haruno pulls Mojoe into danger and actually gets taken out by the Arsenal synergy. That just burst on that W. Just was a little bit too much to deal with. I just love seeing the Lamau. We know it's his classic. That's so funny. That's so funny to me. But no, we do see that it is Horvath stepping up, Mojoe wanting to step on, but Anna is already in the Dragon Knight. First Dragon Knight of the game will be going over to the side of Game of Thrones. I do have to say that Cool Cats and Kittens did actually get their Siege Giants out in time. The Dragon Knight actually steps up a little bit too quickly. They're able to get the Siege Giants still behind the gate. Nice pull by the Calfazard, but it doesn't really matter too much. People would say fair, but 10s are through first for Cool Cats and Kittens. We see the unrelenting strikes on the Kira. Emerald Wind, Brightwing. Interesting, but I do like the phase shift in Emerald Wind after Horvath has dived in, so I imagine we'll see that a few times. These chains are finding people consistently. Calfazard's doing really well at that. Beowulf comes flying in just to get pushed away by Beachy Man. Obviously, we have that Pylon overcharge. There's the unrelenting strikes. There's the Cocoon coming out. And we see a good turnaround. Emerald Wind pushing people away. That was quite a few buttons pushed for not really much of a impact. I thought that was a sleep dart. I saw Probius' Q return to him like, what the... Probius is screwed. Also, interesting mix of a build here. And then we do have a 10s through for Game of Thrones. I see the interesting combo now. We have that Moshpit ETC and that Meme Beam, that Planet Cracker from Phoenix, which can be very interesting. Pushover in danger does use that Worker Rush to get out, so it'll be fine. I think we do have Calfazard going. They really are all inning this ETC Mosh, because we also see Calfazard has picked up Shadow Fisher off his own combo / off of ETC. He can work that off of, as well as Nano Boost Ana, which will make things terrifying, and finishing off with that Imperius W. Wait, no, not W. What am I thinking? Arsenal Synergy. Not Arsenal Synergy. Angelic Armaments. Right. That's Pylon Overcharge, forcing people out. It does actually do a little bit more damage than you expect. Beowulf is going to get blown up. We'll be fine. Barely caught a Mosh. No, actually, barely not in the Mosh. Lubidium in danger. Uses that. But I don't know if they can get out of this one. Nope, they get hit by a spear, and they will be taken out with that one auto afterwards. Top Gun did then go for the Angelic Armament through the bush, but wasn't able to find anyone. Pushover in danger will be fine, but Beowulf does fall half out and ultimately will live. Right. That was a lot to deal with. Only losing one there is... It could be worse if you're cool cats and kittens. You did have a lead, but only losing one could be worse. You still are closer to 13s. You're ultimately going to be fine. But it does mean you just have to give up a little bit of macro pressure when it comes to things such as this bottom camp. Yeah. That's my whole thought process. I never claimed to be a bright boy. I'm just talking about the game. Alright, we do see things are going to start going off as we do see the camp being stopped mid. We see top, Crazy for Harano taking a little bit of damage from Mojo-E. And Mojo-E is actually quite a hard one to deal with. They are also that move speed at level 4, so they're really going to be hard to chase down. Tongue just a little bit short. With extended tongue at 16, maybe that hits, but no. 13s are only just through now for both teams, which I'm going to briefly open up talent so we can see what's happening. Beachy Man getting comboed. There is the Kel'Thuzad getting out his abilities. And Nano Boost didn't quite find anything. Pushover actually worker rushes in. Beachy Man is the one in trouble going down. We see Bella now in trouble, is the next to fall. Top Gun and Mr. Hustler is the issue, but Mr. Hustler is the one getting dove upon. They are going to get hit by the Brightwing Q, I should say, but Top Gun doesn't quite find anything either. Pushover is going to channel that objective bottom. We'll be fine, but meanwhile, Crazy for Harano is being forced out by Mojo-E. Yeah, that... When Phoenix works, he really works. It is a very hard one to deal with. He teleports in, he is that warp warfare, and Crazy for Harano is taking a lot of damage for it. Isolation comes out, being pushed away by Crazy for Harano. Harano is now that invisible, so it's hard for him to get hit. Meanwhile, pushing bottom, we do have the rest of the team, while Kira did that mid cap, that bruiser cap. Nice Mosh, actually interrupted by the stun, but now we have Pushover and Horvath in a dangerous place. There is a full combo coming out for Kel'Thuzad. Horvath taking a decent amount. Lubidium pushing one away. I'm sorry, it wasn't Brightwing stuck in the combo, it was the Probius stuck in the combo, but they will have to back out. Mojo-E is just... Okay, Kira, Beowulf, help. Help the poor man. He is struggling. He is not having a good time. Beowulf is left. Beowulf left the chat. Yep, Beowulf has come back now, but that may be a little bit too late. Does cancel the warp, will take them out, and they're actually able to get the objective before the other team is. Well, actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. They're able to channel the top shrine before the Dragon Knight could be picked up by Game of Thrones. So Cool Cats and Kittens are still in this. They're just going to be looking at bottom camp. Why am I saying like in this? Very head-on experience. Very head-on experience. They have a talent tier advantage. It's very much they just happen to make it so Game of Thrones weren't able to get the turn event. Alright, let's see what happens as Horvath is stepped up alone. Beachy Man closing in the gates, and that is now the ETC in danger. There's the anti. There is a very good meme beam Mosh combo. Crazy for Harano has come down here as well. Bella is in danger. Mr. Hustler is in danger. Nice spear by Top Gun. Bella is still low. 186 health down here. We see pings coming out, but no one can get on top of her without putting themselves in too much danger. Alright, what will be happening now? We do see top is being taken by Mojo-E once again. Meanwhile, bottom, Beowulf and Pushover both clearing the waves. And we do see Imperius now as Beowulf has found him. Sleep coming out. That is a little bit too much. And that will be Kira going down in just a few moments. And here we see the classic wrong level step. Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. You are right. I'd imagine you're wanting Criticize. No, actually you'd be wanting the silence queue for ETC, I'd imagine, right? But Criticize still does well. Actually, maybe Criticize the more I think about it. Either way, phase out is not often the choice. Just because it is such a short stasis. It's not even a second, while most other heroes have at least 3 seconds. Yeah, okay, it was for silence. Right. Right, pushover and Crazy for Haruno are top. And they are going to be chasing out Mojo E. Does find the Q onto him. I'm going to be yawning. Sorry about that. And now Mojo E is just getting dove upon. Not too much they can do to get out. Crazy for Haruno does get hit. Does use the burrow to get out. Meanwhile, the web coming out onto Ana. Ana not being able to do anything now. Crazy for Haruno doing what they can. Does get a nice silence out. Does tongue the Bone Man himself, Calfazard, but will be fine. Actually, that was Emerald Wind cancelled. But that is an excellent match if you're ETC. However, over a little bit too soon, cancelled out. We do see that pushover takes out Calfazard in the meantime. Lubidium very low, Bella also. But that objective will now be picked up by... Okay. To be fair, Peach, also welcome Peach, happy to have you here. Lubidium is the healer and did say they did pick the wrong one. But yes, it is situational. It is just one of the least picked talents on that tier. Very much. The other two are picked more, especially if you have a mobile target with Mosh. The silence does well. If, in general, you're looking for blow up, the minus 25 armor does very well. And the phase out can be correct into like high burst builds, like this team is. They are high burst. Albeit, I do say that it may be wrong choice, but it can still do very well. It does mean you can survive the Calfazard combos. It does mean you can survive the Imperious damage follow-up. Bokansi Dragonite was picked up by Probius, I should mention. So they will be pushing with it. And Mojo E is now chasing the Dragonite. Dragonite doesn't like that because of the kick. Probius does not want to deal with it. But will ultimately still be fine. As all while we see Mr. Hustler and Co. trying their best to get rid of that Dragonite. And make sure it doesn't do too much damage to their structures. All the while, buildings have been going down. Oh, Dragonite is getting himself an awkward situation. Does take out the tower. Will get the push away with its death, I suppose. It does push people away. And ultimately, that will be that phase over. Level 20s are through for Cool Cats and Kittens. We do see the upgrade to... I think it's called like Silence Kills or something. Silent Killer is picked up by Kira. Fairy Protectors on the right, which I have seen Fairy Protectors more and more, which is very interesting. We don't see those intensive wins, but we do see Mr. Hustler is the one in danger. They do get hit by the silence. They do get hit by a lot of stuns. Anna does her best to get that active reload off. I did hear all targets go, but we do see Mean Beam out hitting the Dahaka. And actually, that's 2 kills now for the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. That's 3 kills now for the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. But it was such a good start to the engage. Pushover is in danger. They can't really work a rush while there's people hitting them. And we can see now Mojo E is going to cut them off. Phase shift coming out to pushover. That may be not the wise choice, but no, they will be fine to be. And Beachy Man doing their best to see if they can find anyone, but will not be able to do so. And Probius and Brightwing both managed to get out of a situation where not many others would have been able to. But I guess it is the power of Brightwing. Brightwing really is a good deterrent for making sure people don't want to step in. Right, camps are just being picked up. Probius actually very good at camps. Does well on them. But other things I didn't note, we do have a construct additional pylons. Probius Contagion on the Dahaka and Rewind Anubrak. On the other hand, we do have Death, Metal, ETC, Nano Infusion, Ana. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what these are called. Might have a Scourge on the Calfazard. Armageddon Beam on the Phoenix, which I'm still just going to call Meme Beam. You can't stop that. As well as Brand of Solarian on the Imperious, which I do know what that one is called because I do actually play Imperious, unlike
there must always be a dragon knight.
at least three of these other heroes. But no, the objectives are up once again. We do see both teams channeling either the top and bottom objective for Cool Cats and Kittens and Game of Thrones respectively. But we do now see that there is going to be a decent push coming in for Game of Thrones, wanting to make sure Anubrak is there for game. Was a pause, they are back. But that building is just going to get torn apart. The Meme Beam. It is the Meme Beam. Yes, it is. I love Planet Cracker on Phoenix so much. I know it's not the right one. I know the other one's the right one. But it is fun, especially when you have a mosh to set it up. Because you can now essentially cover the whole mosh if you point it directly at ETC himself. So you can be just Phoenix and Narnia over here, but if there's one person caught out, they can just die. Beowulf is in danger, does get by a stun, does get another stun. Yep, they're dead, we get it, they're dead. You don't have to push more buttons at them, Jesus Christ. I think Beowulf may have felt a bit loved there. That was a lot of damage coming in at them at once. So what do we use? 1, 2, 3, spear. No Mosh here. Beachy Man is in trouble, does slide back in, does get damaged off. We do see the Anub'arak does, not Anub'arak, the Beetleman did burrow, but we know we see Anub'arak going down now. We do see damage coming out. Crazy for Harano having to back out. Lubidium also in danger. We do see Crazy for Harano does give the isolation off, however, taking a little bit too much damage. Imperious, close enough to see where they are. And once again, we just left with Aprobius and Brightwing alive, which I'm starting to notice a theme here if I am Cool Cats and Kittens. But no, they were definitely running a hard draft to really pull off. They've been doing well with it up for a while, but this team fight situation that's coming in this late game is hard to deal with. Lubidium and Bella both up here. Bella chasing them off. And we see Mr. Hustler is the one getting into the DK. Deathmosh value, I'm still salty. That's entirely reasonable. Deathmosh is something you can't quite cancel with that silence. Right, we are back. Sorry, I was just having a quick drink of water. Beowulf is swinging for their life. Didn't quite find the tether, and that will be the end of him potentially. Barely. Nope. The poison from Anna took them out. That is that's unfortunate if you're Kira. Beowulf can't be happy with that. But no, we do see a decent push coming bottom now. Right. Sorry, people are just coming in and out of my room because I am in the living space of my house, and I do have flatmates who just walk around here, so I just sometimes mute myself just to come back. But no, we do see a nice Mosh once again. Nice poly by Lubidium. Slide coming up for Horvath. Horvath goes down. EC goes down, so we do have a trade. Death Mosh is out. No one in at that time. And we do see the pylons are going to be pushing people away. That pylon overcharge can do a lot. I just keep looking at dummy meme Death Mosh value. I'm still salty. It's just such a funny, like, process that has happened there. Alright, we do see that the team of Game of Thrones are being forced out. There's not too much they can do. Well, they do want to step back in. Cover side going for 1 swing, 2 swing. That may have been a little 1 swing too many. Sleep went for Crazy for Harano. Harano, however, did use the burrow in time, but those tunneling claws help out a lot. And now we see 4 members here. Probius did check for Bush, I'll give him that. However, there is just a slight issue directly ahead of him. Crazy for Harano trying to zone people out. We do get the spear. We do have a mean beam in the corridor. That is not what you want to see. That is Vakira going down. Lubidium, actually, you know what? That phase out was correct. It did keep you alive there. And now we see Crazy for Harano is in danger. Does get taken out by Top Gun. And now this may just be an end call. You have all members up. Sure, ETC still a little bit off, but you still have a 4v3 here. Especially when Spear finds its target like that. Horvath doing excellent. We do see that Top Gun is going to be chasing. Sorry, I say Top Gun is doing excellent. Horvath is trying to be a best survivor. Is struggling a little. We do see that pylon overcharge coming out. Phase out happening once again, but it was the cocoon that came out to appeal for Lubidium. Meanwhile, we do see that it is a polymorph. A lot of damage coming out to Top Gun. Top Gun spears back in. Doesn't quite find anything. There is the angelic armaments. Doesn't find the damage with Horvath, but ultimately we do still have a 5v3 here. But no, it's been a little bit too long. I don't know if Game of Thrones can end now. If they find a pick, all of a sudden, yes they can. But no, they will be getting out of dodge. You're right. Yeah, we do see Kira's back up and Dahaka up in just a few seconds. Bottom camp will be getting taken by Game of Thrones. They do want to make sure they do have that. Now, meanwhile, that safe bruiser camp being done by Cool Cats and Kittens, not really wanting to get taken out here just yet. They want to at least keep their hopes in a little bit, because it's actually relatively even in terms of structures. Still free structures are free structures, just it is easier for Game of Thrones to end at this point, because they do have bottom open as opposed to just one of each of the forts down. Beowulf stepping up. Mojo E has actually been found. They're being patient for this shift. And that is a very patient Mojo, but ultimately the patience may not have mattered, as both Horvath and Beowulf was making sure that Space Crab did not survive. Overall, we do see Lubidium has been put on clearing duty. Just going, you know what, bud? That's your problem you have to deal with. You can phase shift whenever you want. You're a global. Even though just as much, Haruno is a global and could do the same thing, probably a little bit faster. But that's fine ultimately at the end of the day. Beachy Man, Mr. Hustler, and Bella is rotating up with Top Gun to see if they can catch anyone out top. But maybe they get the objective in time if this is flipped now. I don't know if Kira was start of a channel in time. It is going to be barely moved over by Beachy Man before Beowulf can get the full channel on the Dragon Knight to become it once again. But no, we will just get more safe play. That mid camp top camp being cleared out by Game of Thrones. And we're just getting a lot of posturing, a lot of safe play. And Nubrak has gone top. That's important to know if you're Cool Cats and Kittens, because you're seeing that this objective is getting channeled. You know you can run at people now. You have, well, 4 out of your 5, but essentially with Planet Cracker, that is a global, kind of, not really, but kind of. So we'll see what happens there. Right. We will see the posturing once again. Pushover has found Beachy Man. Beachy Man forced out of that bush. What will happen here is going to be the question. Horvath trying to get the channel. Very bold considering all members, you know, are mid. You know there's going to be a fight here no matter what. And we do see Horvath being forced out by Top Gun and Beachy Man. And we'll see a dive come in. Horvath pushed. There is the combo of the spell armor being pushed out by Brightwing. That did so much there. Actually, 55 spell armor did wonders. But no, the Death Watch thing catches them. That is not what you want to see. That's your front line down. Your Kira is next. Rubidium and Pushover once again. The last one's alive. But that Mosh into Death Mosh with the Shadow Fishes and the Meme Beam is so much to do. I really should call it what it actually is and call it Planet Cracker. I know it's called Planet Cracker, but that's so much less fun to say than Meme Beam. But no, we see Imperius is set up for getting in the objective. I don't know if that's technically correct. Maybe you want Bella in? I guess the Dragon Knight is really just a big tank.
Now it burns.
Right, I imagine this is going to be an end this time. We're at a 24-minute objective. It does a lot of damage at this point. It can get through buildings pretty easily at this point. Bella's healing Mr. Hustler. Mr. Hustler has stepped up quite a bit, but they know they're not going to get locked down very easily. Lubidium does hit a W onto them. That may be Lubidium down, however. Phase out a little bit early. Will get taken out. I guess they had to dodge the sleep, so it makes sense. But not really too much you can do there either way. GG called by 1. We see Horvath and Graceful Harano are back now, but that Dragon Knight just needs to hit core, and I'm pretty sure they win, even without anything else happening. We see it. There is a Phoenix taken out once again. The Space Crab not going to do too much more this game. And that'll be first map for series, going over to the side of Game of Thrones. GG's called by both sides. Let's have a look at how that went in the game summary screen, shall we? Right. We do have very good siege by Probius and Coversard in particular, both for 245k and 255k respectively. In terms of damage, Probius actually did... What the... Was that Probius on? Crack. 151k. Yeah, this is my favorite Probius. Pushover. Hell yeah. I was begging of a Probius, like maybe not enough damage, but they did excellent. Which, hell yeah. To the healing, we have Lubidium and Bella both doing pretty respectable amounts. Lol had to try... He had to try carry my dead Kira. Woof, bud. That's a woof. Also, thank you, Pushover and Beowulf joining. And as well, Fiction. Thank you all for joining in. But anyway, we do have that in terms of Siege, Probius. And thank you for following Beowulf. Phoenix and Pushover did very well. Phoenix did give a very hard time for Arano. Phoenix is one of those ones where if you don't have a correct bruiser to go into it, it's a nightmare to deal with. Especially with Phoenix going that move speed at 4. It was quite hard for Dahaka to get everyone on top of him, so they just bullied a little bit in that top lane, which is unfortunate sometimes. I'm not Australian! Hold up. Time out, absolute fiction. You're timed out, fiction. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna not. That's just. I'm not Australian. I will not take that standing. Fiction. Before anyone goes like, "Oh, you're bullying her," Fiction is a very good friend of mine. Thank you, Beowulf. Fiction is a very good friend of mine. I think she'll find it in good humor. If not, I will just get a message later going, "What the hell, man?" But no, love Fiction dearly. Very wonderful person. But these are the talent to anyone's involved. Those moshes did very well. You know what? Pushover. Good point. Excellent point. So if anyone's interested in builds, especially that Probius build that did so much, there it is. Right, let me swap it on over to our map view screen and we'll see what the next map is. Which I've got to actually leave this game before I figure that one out. But while I'm doing that, we need to tick that Game of Thrones 1 map number 1. Classic. Okay, Lubidium, I'm not timing you out. But that's purely because I do not know you as well. I also didn't realize it was going to automatically be 600 seconds. So I feel really bad. How do I... Can I untime out? Untime out. Absolute fiction. Because I feel bad. I feel bad when I time them out. Is that going to work? Absolute fiction no longer exists. I've made a mistake. I made a horrible mistake, chat. Right, I'll deal with that in a few moments. Apparently, we have next, a little drum roll please, Garden of Terror. At least that's what I see is the second map here, so if it's wrong, someone's reported this wrong and that's their fault. But no, Garden of Terror next. I'm a fan of Garden of Terror, but I also like characters that can run around and be an absolute menace to society, like a Samuro, like a... Oh my god, I've just seen what's available. Interesting already. I've seen what's happening, so I'm going to jump on into the game. And... I have a feeling I know who reported this now, Beowulf. Right, let me switch it on over. As we do have Garden of Terror, and we do have TLV actually being picked up by Harano, which I do like a good TLV. Lubidium is on that. Lucio. Horvath is on May. Pushover on the Jaina, and Beowulf rounding up the comp with Hanzo. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, we do have Mojo E on the Ragnaros. Bella 27 on Jaina. Top Gun on Genji, which can do pretty well at popping some Vikings. As well as Bella. Wait, no, that's not Jaina. That's a Valo. I've misread things. Beachy Man is on the healer. This time we see Stukov. And Mr. Hustler is on Diablo. Have I just misspelled things? We do see the damage coming out. A little bit of trading. A little bit of everything out. Right, I've untimed out absolute fiction, so I'm going to get sassed in a few moments. So fiction, you can talk again if you have it. I'm sorry. Playing barrel for everything and everything. I will. Okay, I will. Push over in danger. We do see that the tank is traded for Jaina. Nice dash by Genji. We do see Deflect following up. They do have another dash to get out as they did have that reset. But ultimately, they will be fine. Horvath throws snow at the minions. Now, we do see two Vikings stop. We do see Olaf and Baylog doing their due diligence stop. And, well, great. We do see Eric bottom. Eric, as we all know, is... Well, as at least some people know, and especially me after I've spent a decent amount of time with her, is Plasticine's favorite Viking. And if she dies, she's not... If Eric dies, she's not happy with that. So, Harano, you better keep Eric alive, or I'm telling on you. Let that be a lesson. Keep this little dude alive. That little lad, look at him go. Right, anyway, we do see camps are being picked up. Can't be CC. That means nothing to me. And we do now have an invade. Pushover actually gets around the corner in time. Doesn't actually get stunned by Mr. Hustler. However, they do have Top Gun on top of them. And Top Gun takes them out actually pretty well. Push off by Lubidium. They will be going back to Zerite. They will be like, yeah, sure, let's run at people. That's not much more that anyone can do about it. But we do see Poke coming in. And... No! It's Olaf, it's fine.
Seeds of my
It's Olaf, it's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. It's just Olaf. I like Olaf a lot. Oh, no! That one is Eric! Shit! Mate, you can't let Eric die like that. You just can't let Eric die like that. Come on. No, we do see a reset now coming out from Cool Cats and Kittens. And really, they don't need this... Okay, they don't need this objective as a very loose term. They don't need to be the ones to channel this objective immediately, I should say. They can take their time with this. I was scratching myself. My beard. Oh no. But we do see that Jaina going down. Bella's been taken out by Hanzo and Luba. DM was just running at them. Meanwhile, Crazy for Haruno is now above them, trying to get the objective. Beowulf and Lubidium very low. Will the Genji dash in? No, the Genji gets pushed in. 46. It's enough health to live. Genji had enough health to live. Meanwhile, Crazy for Haruno realizes they can't quite do that by themselves, so they do get the Olaf to pull the things away. Olaf is actually quickly dying. Lubidium heal Olaf. Olaf actually gets the live in time, so ultimately they're going to be fine. And they do get it objective. Haruno is going to be hitting Mojo E, but... Mate. Come on, keep these alive. No, it's fine. When there is something that has like extra movement that can run at you, it does make it much harder for Vikings to live. Eric is probably the easiest one to live in that situation. Olaf can do alright, because he's already slower than everyone else. How do I see it? That doesn't help me at all. We do see a fight is coming out bottom. We do see a flip coming out. Pushover once again is a little bit too high up compared to everyone else. And they will go down to the end. Lubidium trying their best to keep them alive. But will get out themselves. Beowulf doing a nice little scatter. But Bella isn't to get hit by that. Ragnaros meanwhile pushing top. We do see two Vikings clearing mid. Balog very good at that. And I'm just going to open up talent to see what's happening. Good things to know, but I haven't already talked about this game. We do have Scatter build Hanzo. We have Q build Vala. We have Q build Genji as well. Mojo E is going to be starting that objective. Those are main quests to know outside of Soulstone, Diablo, and... Such a shame. But no, we do also see that Frostbite Jaina. Frostbite hasn't gone very far. We do actually see Genji goes down first. I did my work last game. This was my turn to get... You know what? Pushover, fair enough. I'm not allowed to talk bad about you because you did so well on that Probius. But right, we do see Bella does roll out. This building is getting slowly pushed in. And that's the thing, if you have Vikings on the map, you can just kind of hard shove a lane and not focus about the others. Because you have just your Vikings there sitting around doing their own thing. We do see push coming out onto Horvath. Horvath in danger. Building does go down over. All the while, we do see Eric running from above, taking that camp. And we do see that Diablo gets their Soulstone reset just before level 10s come through for Cool Cats and Kittens. And that is not ideal if you are Game of Thrones. And also, ow, I've just hurt my leg. I'm getting old. My leg is sore. I was doing exercise yesterday. Ah! But right, we do see now that it will be the next objective coming up in a few moments. And level 10s are through for... I pushed the wrong button. For the side of Cool Cats and Kittens, we do see that Ice Wall from May summon Water Elemental Jaina, High Five Lucio. Just because High Five is just such a good, like, slap, you're unstoppable, slap, you're unstoppable, slap, unstoppable healing. Or slap, you're now anti-healed, plus you're slowed when you get aggressive. But we do see Vikings is having a good think about it. I know it's probably going to be. We do have Dragon Arrow Hanzo. On the other hand, we do have the Rain of Vengeance Vala. We have Dragon Blade on the Genji, which is often you see Dragon Blade, but it is fun when you do get to see it. The Flaming Swipe Stukov. There comes the Dragon Arrow on top of the enemy team. And that we do have a Lava Wave Ragnaros, which did just come through, and as well as the Apocalypse Diablo. Think about Apocalypse Diablo. Diablo is the one in danger. Top Gun doesn't quite find Beowulf with first swipes. Does have their own dash over, will eventually get... will help get the kill onto Hanzo. Then we see Lucio following not soon after. Pushover and Horvath get to live, all while Vikings have been pushing their respective lanes. Respective lanes, rather. Right, Mojo E jumps on top. Crazy for Haruno, however, does have that run up, so both Vikings get to live there, and all while this one's just chilling in a bush. Right, let's watch this 1v2. Well, I guess it's technically a 1v.6. And they did eventually pick up the play again. Which, yeah, it's usually the correct choice by Vikings. I was very interested in, like, is he actually considering... What's the one I'm thinking of? Is he actually considering the Viking longship? Because he didn't pick for a while. Arano was very much holding that. The Vikings were very much holding that. Oh, no, Hanzo. Oh, Hanzo was wanting to get a little poke in just to see if they could stop things from happening. But nope, not able to do so. Mojoe is going to back because I realize he's probably going to need to deal with at Eric down bottom. But we do see now Olaf is one in danger. Does get pushed, does get flipped, does get killed. And that will be a very dead Viking. Meanwhile, we see Eric is just poking at Mojoe. There's a good free-man push coming on, but I'm just going to watch this. Mojoe is just getting people down slowly but surely. Crazy for Harano does back up Eric. Eric is one of those harder Viking sketch because they are so... Look. You know what? We'll see. What do we think it is, chat? Nick, it is a bust indeed. Dragon Arrow doesn't quite find its target, goes off the side. Meanwhile, we see Lava Wave coming through. And that is now a dangerous position. Pushover is dead. Crazy for Harano does get out. No, he doesn't. But now we see Horvath is the one in danger. And what was looking all right for the side of Cool Cats and Kittens now is danger. Just as... Oh, never mind. Stun it. Top Gun really, really wants Horvath. Horvath does slide out. Top Gun finally stops giving chase. Seed is spawned. And this is the third seed. That was probably one of the least opportune times for game for Cool Cats and Kittens to die. But it's very good Game of Throws as they will be able to channel this objective. Come on, man. Harano, just let your Vikings live, man. This is probably... I'm also getting really confused because I have Horvath here and Harano here, and I keep calling them that, and I'm getting myself confused. But Jaina helps clear the camp. We do see push coming onto Hanzo. Hanzo, however, is just a little bit out of position compared to the rest of the team. Well, pushed out of position away from the rest of Game of Thrones, I should say. We do see the silence route coming out from Beachy Man, and that is not where you want to be if you are the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. But we see push coming out onto Jaina. There's the unstopped Dragon Arrow. Doesn't quite find anything that time. We can see it's just... Does it? Nope. Ice Wall came out. We see that the Top Gun is alone. But the chase is coming on. Beachy Man has rooted himself in a... Not stop letting your Vikings die! Line bus, Line bus, really? I said that. Fiction, I don't know how I feel about that statement. I really don't like that statement. Please, no. But no, we do see that waves are being cleared. Vikings did go that spin to win, so they will be clearing up things. No! Okay, Fiction, that's a good point. But look what you've done. Fiction, look what you've done. Look what Nick is doing. I know he's actually called Nick, even though it's... I don't know how to pronounce that, and... I don't know how you would pronounce that, like, actual name, but... getting up horny, like the bonk sticks is going horny, no. But, thank you, Nick, I guess. Interesting Fiction. But we are going to get back into it. The plant terrors are dead. I guess, maybe. Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. But we do see now that camp will be taken. Plant terrors are done. So very much the teams are allowed to get back into it. Push comes back out. Mr. Hustler doesn't quite find B-May. And Beachy Man is very good at hitting these routes. Hitting these combos quite effectively. We see nice Dragon Arrow. That one hits and the Ice Wall comes out. I imagine Horvath is going to have their stun up in a few moments. No, they do not. Oh, yes, they do. But Bello is in the middle of it. We do see Diablo going down. We do see May finding the kill onto Violet. But we do see now that Hanzo managed to finish Ragnar. So that is a 3 for none so far. 4 for none so far. Top Gun is the next one on the firing line. They're not quite as easy to kill, however, as we see that deflect giving a pretty sizable shield. And actually, the thing I want to note is we see this slip from Lucio just doing so much to help his survivability there in that situation, as well as up frequency. So, not saying that, Nick. Not saying that one out loud. Don't think I will. But we do see that is doing a decent amount of work on that E as well. Other things to note, we do have Diablo going into that full stun, that's full charge quest, that Q at level 4. 13 still stacking. Genji not quite done with his Shuriken quest. Yes, his Shuriken Mastery does take a little bit to stack. It does need 70, so it does take a while. From that, we do have the Q quest. Vala still scaling as well. Meanwhile, both Hanzo and Jaina have finished their level 1 and their baseline, respectively. I really need to pronounce my words better. Olaf's dying before Balor can... Harado, what the hell, man? What the hell? What did Vikings ever do to you, man? But no, we can see pushes coming out. We do see that the side of Cool Cats and Kittens are going to be pushing in that mid now. Eric is bottom, Olaf is top, but the main 4-man is going to be giving Mojo E strife. Olaf died for the Gardens. That is true. That is very true. Right. Dragon Arrow hitting only 2 there. I thought it would hit more. Nice Ice Wall. Barely finding Diablo. Barely found Diablo with that Ice Wall. But it did work. And we see Diablo very low. Diablo is without souls. So they become much squishier at present. They have nowhere near as large a health pool. And they don't quite give the benefits that some talents give when they're at full souls. We always see that bottom plant Terra is gone down now. And top will not be long left. As you see, it is slowly dropping. You can't even see its bar there. Oh, but you can see it here. And it falls. Literally, it drops 1 plant and dies. And Haruno's pushing again. Oh. So, who was watching that? But no, that is dead. But no, we do get back to the 4-man of Cool Cats and Kittens. Just basically rotating where Game of Thrones aren't, and just pushing. Look, I think coming back here. I think Game of Thrones are figuring it out. They did need to get a little bit more aggressive, but it's quite hard for them to do so as level 20s are online for Cool Cats and Kittens. We do see the Winter Mute, Jaina. There's mixing fire from... I love mixing fire and Lucio. It's such a fun talent, just slapping your enemies and they may die. Other things we do have that Bullseye Hanzo. Play again. The sequel Vikings, which also nice Dragon Arrow. We do see May going in for the slide, doesn't quite find it. Hanzo in the meantime was hit with that root in the silence and goes down. Unfortunate. We will see the big one May. There's an unstop coming out. Genji's getting what they can out. Does get pushed away. Pushover is in an awkward spot. Thinks about doubling back, but no, they're now in firing line of Bella. Does dodge that. Stun, does dodge for damage and will go down. 20 health left on Pushover. Meanwhile, we do see Horvath and Lubidium now in danger. Pushover is kept alive by Horvath, just barely keeping them up. But ultimately, that will be that fight done. And my mouse is all the way up here. I did not think it was all the way up here. I'm an idiot. Right, and now... Okay, Olaf is not being sacrificed this time for the greater good of the seed. It's a very spread fight here. Ragnaros is not with them. That's probably a thing to know. Sure, Hanzo is down, but Ragnaros is not with them. A lot of shield on Top Gun. Horvath getting stunned away from the rest of the team by Mr. Hustler, and that is the Olaf going down. Meanwhile, is Mr. Hustler just taking a lot of damage. Does use Hellgate. Pushover barely out of his max range, so isn't able actually to get the combo off of the... We always see Dragon Arrow coming in, finding 2. Thank you to that Dragon Arrow. There's 1, 2. All the Vikings are here. Genji is a one of the firing line. Does get a lot of damage from that deflect. Pushover is going to be channeling the objective. And we now see Top Gun is in danger. Lubidium also, but nope, Lubidium ultimately will be fine. Very good use of the play again there by the TLV. Well, that doesn't make sense. By TLV. And now I think we see an encore here as Bella doesn't necessarily have an easy time defeating against all of this. Horvath, you are a bit low. Just keep that in mind. You may want to... Yeah, just use that cryo freeze. Right, teams are pushing. That may be all she wrote for map number 2. Oh, Lubidium is in this game as well. That almost sounds toxic, Nick. But we do see Lubidium holding on. They are taking the tower shots. We'll go down to the end. But that is likely... Okay, let's not be plants. GG called. by the teams. Well played. And let's see how the game went. Let's go over to our summary screen, shall we? Right, we're starting with talents this time, apparently, because I didn't change it over fast enough. Vala was at 34 stacks. Genji did end up finishing that quest, as well as Hanzo and Jaina, as I said, finishing up their own. Diablo didn't quite get the full stun build up and running. It didn't quite finish at level 13, but still got pretty close. Any talents that stick out in particular? No. I'm interested we didn't see Malevolence. You often see Malevolence with with Diablo at level 7 if they are going to go with a charge build. Mentally, didn't look like it didn't even take a good 7 against Genji. What are we on about? Look, at least you didn't go reverse amp against Genji. I will give you that. You did actually go with the right choice there. I may have expected Boombox, but no, that Q does still well. Actually, if you're Lucio, this is a high survivability Lucio. If you're not killing your whole team, are you even a teammate? Yes, you are a teammate if you're not killing your whole... Look, you had a lot of Vikings to finish off if you were trying that. But no, Genji didn't quite go full deflect. We did think about it. We do see the augmented guard and reflect at... Ow! My leg. I've done something to my hip joint. It is very sore today. But we do see they did very well. But there's really not too much to talk about there in terms of stats. Good damage on Hanzo. Mojo E also had excellent damage as well. They actually got a lot of value with the E. They got a lot of value with that Lava as well. And they just kind of farmed Vikings. Yeah. Harano, let your Vikings live next time. Jesus. No. Relkin Raka is indeed a line bust. Doing one of my replay cast days. Albeit... Oh, excellent. Nice. Welcome home. Is it nice being in your own place and not in the hotel anymore? Motel, wherever you were staying. I imagine it's always nice getting back after a long day, long week away. Right, that is one apiece now for this series. Cool Gets Skins Game of Thrones doing pretty well. You do have to go back Monday as far as I'm aware, Raka. I'm not sure if you're still... Did I accidentally run an ad? Did I accidentally run an ad, chat? Am I dumb? Am I dumb, chat? Anyway. We're ending on Towers of Doom. No, it is an accident! Shit! I'm not bright. I'm not quite a himbo, but I do make some mistakes. I'm not very good at the streaming thing. I can talk. I'm very good at talking. It's one of the things I do for a living anyway outside of this. I am not good with technology in terms of streaming. I'm quite dumb. But no, we do have, last and certainly not least, in terms of map, we have Towers of Doom. I do really like Towers of Doom. It is one of my preferred maps to play. But right, we are opening things up now. Exactly. I'm a lime bus. Have you ever seen a brain in a lime? Think about it. Think about it, chat. Have you ever seen a brain in a lime? No, I didn't think so. That's right. Anyway, the game is going now. We're going to swap on over to game and see how this series ends out. So, on the right-hand side of Game of Thrones, we do have Bella27 on the Tyrande. Mr. Hustler is on Li Ming. Top Gun 707 is on the Zul Jin. Beachy Man on the Anubrak and Mojui on the Sonya. On the left-hand side, we do have Lubidium on the Anduin this time. Beowulf is hidden behind everything on the Zarya. This is the second series. We've had like a Zarya, Vala, Hypercarry without it being the same teams. Because we see Zarya, Beowulf pushover is on the Vala this time. Lubidium, I've already said. Horvath back on May. And Crazy for Harano on the Dahaka, which I do like Dahaka on this map. It's a really good one. But this is a good map for... Nice pull by Anduin. I also just realized this is the first series this season that has not had Infernal Shrines in it. You guys can pick something not Infernal Shrines. I'm very proud. I've casted that map a lot each of these seasons. But we see Beowulf getting a nice double stun by Beachy Man and follow up from Tyrande. But ultimately, Horvath and Beowulf will take a lot of damage, but will be fine thanks to those shields. And that is a pretty good... That's pretty good if you are cool cats and kittens. You need that burst protection into things such as the triple stun that is potentially coming your way. Imagine we'll see the unstop come from Beowulf later, as well as the cleanse at VS 16. Meanwhile, pushover is going to be the main damage dealer. They are auto attack? Yeah, I was like, the auto attacks are pretty quick. They are auto attack build. They do need a lot of protection. And honestly, even if the rest of the team dies, pushover is the one you can try your best to keep alive. But nope, neither team were able to invade each other. They do just play safely and are able to get so. Top Gun being forced out. Horvath didn't quite find what they wanted there. We do see a nice stun by Beachy Man. Beowulf backing out. Takes a nice out of a forehead. Honestly, we'll be fine. Well, they then take an orb to the forehead and less fine. Then they take some spikes. They're taking a few arrows. They're taking a couple axes. But Beowulf's fine, guys. Seriously, don't worry. Beowulf, A-OK. We see Horvath coming down now to join the fray. Does get a nice little snowball off. Keep in mind the sappers are already dead for the side of Cool Cats and Kittens, but they will back out. Meanwhile, these two are barely still up. Vala's seeing what they can do to drop them. And no, Val finds the last one with that Q. Perfect. Fours are literally the same time for both times. The teams are even in terms of experience, I believe. That looks very close. Yep, they're basically step and step. There's barely 100 difference in terms of the experience gained. But to quickly talk about talents, we do have Zarya actually going that maximum charge at level 1, Piercing Light and a win, which I like Piercing Light when there's a lot of frontline on the other team. I don't know so much about it in this situation, but I do like it in general. We do also see Vala is stacking. They really did ban it. That's unfortunate. I do like that they did. No, actually, you know what? That's smart. Good work, Camafrosh. You banned out probably one of the most annoying heroes to deal with on this map. And I do also need to note that we actually have the tissue regeneration on Dahaka. And then, of course, the Gambit talent. Icy Morning, thank you so much for subscribing. I hope you're doing well today. I was going to pick up your replay cast, but I saw that someone had already cast it live, like, for bastards. But no, it's fine. I'm very happy you were able to get your match casted live yesterday. On that, we do see that the only quest on the other side is the You Want Axe on Zul'jin. I'm going to close this because we're going to have to see what's happening. Horvath does get pulled out the nick of time because that was a lot of stuns coming in a very short amount of time. And we do see now that this... And actually, you don't even need to win... Oh, never mind, Haranoa is here. So you don't even need to win this. Longer Haranoa is here, the better. But no, we do see the teams backing out. Mojo E and Beachy Man both in an awkward situation, but will be fine. Beowulf does back out. Did take a little bit too much damage, but ultimately no one died on their part, and they were able to take out the other team. Bella is having to backfire out of mana. Mr. Hustler is also low-ish, but ultimately livable. Who is messaging me, and why the hell is that? Bending. Oh. Sure. Alright, we do see that things are happening. We do see the Horvath goes in. Top Gun does get hit. We see 3 sappers go through and a stun onto Beachy Man. Beachy Man getting relatively low. Does burrow back out. Tyrande isn't exactly known for having a lot of healing in a very short amount of time. She has her Qs, sure, but that can only do so much. Bring up the talents just to see what level 7s are coming through. I like the Hark build. I do like a lot of these builds. We do have an Orb build, Li Ming. But that is fair, as Zarya can do a lot to make sure you can't just, like, go off in terms of things. We do see Top Gun absolutely wailing on Horvath, already at 16 stacks, doing a lot quite well. And actually, a Nubrak goes down. Vala rolls out. That's not something you quite want to fight while you're still scaling. If you get to roughly 100, that's when you start becoming quite scary if you haven't lost a Gambit stack. Ban that being illegal, but it's perfectly legal. In fact, it's probably better into this because you don't really want to eat all the damage that is Vala, and you can't really get through the burst that is Beowulf's shields if you're wanting to go in. There's an axe, there's an axe, there's an axe, there's an axe. Top Gun's relatively low and gets taken out by the Q. Yeah, you gotta be careful about those Zarya Qs. Zarya's actually got a full 5 bars of energy, so it's at 120 energy. Wait, 125 energy, so I can absolutely tear things apart at this point. I think it's 125. No, it's just 120, I was right. I should really learn just to, like, you know, click this if I want to look at Zarya as opposed to actually clicking of him, because it's much harder to leash off of him when you do it the clicking way. But no, we do see that Cool Cats and Kittens are pulling ahead slowly but surely. Beachy Man is doing pretty well blocking out Beowulf, but we see Zul'jin going down once again. Unfortunately, Zul'jin is that hero where you need to be low to do quick damage. And unfortunately, when you're low and someone can just lob a grenade at you. Oh, we see Expulsion Zone of Zarya. I do like a good Expulsion Zone. Versus the Light Bomb Anduin, Rain of Vengeance Vala, the Isolation Dahaka, and Ice Wall on the Mei. Yeah, Ice Wall Mei. You heard it here first. Right, we do see Burrow coming out, Beachy Man falling just short, pushover and Beowulf pushing in. We'll be hitting that building, we'll be getting hit themselves. But this is where Zarya comps really do well. You can just kind of push, and that, I imagine that Anduin gets out pretty quick. Oh, Beachy Man doesn't quite hit anyone they wanted there. But pushover getting hit by a lot. Mojo E in the back line. We do see Paul coming out onto pushover. Pushover again is that one you need to let live. You can let anyone else die, but pushover is one that does scale with that time. And that is a lot of damage coming out. We do see the silence isolation coming out. Pushover is in danger, but we see a Nubrak goes down first. Meanwhile, Beowulf is getting relatively low. We'll go down to Mojo E. Mojo E joining the best in the backline. We do see that Zul'jin does drop Taz Dingo. Mojo E is now on an island. Will go down. And that is just a one objective phase coming up. And if you are the side of Cool Cats and Kittens, I think you just want this building before you even get that objective up. No, Darker, stay. Darker, stay. Darker, come back. But no, they're just going to do camp. They're going to play it safe. They're not going to go straight for that building. That is fine. These sappers will very much help them get it anyway. And Zarya is coming off free spawn now. So you do have it major burst. Protection alive. But you also have some pretty low mana bars if you are Cool Cats and Kittens. We see sappers are getting melted by Mr. Hustler. They're trying to make sure they don't step into them. If you're Lubidium, you may just want to step around here a bit more. Here's a little bit easier to interrupt, but ultimately they will give it off relatively easily. Darker came down. They didn't even use Burrow to do so, but they were waddling on their way down. So that is the teams just letting it go once again. But I say that there is a lead here for Cool Cats and Kittens, sure. But this is also Towers of Doom. This is that map you can honestly get to one. As long as you have 1 health, you're basically in this. This is that one map where it will get turned around at a flip of a coin. It's not really guaranteed no matter who you are, just because of how the map is structured. This is why it's one of my favorite maps to cast. Because even like we're in this state, something could happen where Game of Thrones just pop off in the late game. Or even the mid game. They can just pop off and then all of a sudden it is... Exactly, Towers will come back. Alright, I see a lot of damage coming out. Damage coming out. But we do see Beachy Man is the one that got it turned around in the Expulsion Zone, finding the finisher there. And we do now have a building getting turned off by Horvath. And now this becomes a game of tower defense. Bella barely dodges, but Ice Wall actually getting quite hard to get everyone through. Light Bomb coming out. It is the Tyrande going down before that could even pop. But still, it was a guaranteed Tyrande kill at that point either way. Beowulf now just watching the wave. Does get what energy they can off of Top Gun and Mr. Hustler. And now we have an awkward situation for Game of Thrones. They're down a talent. They'll have it very soon, but they are down a talent currently. More importantly, they're down this structure here. So it's very hard to step into this bottom objective. But really, you're going to have to contest this mid one because you have only 2 avenues of getting through as opposed to like 1 realistically over here. But let's see how this goes. Coming up is just the next few seconds. We do have Horvath and Beowulf doing their best to hold this bottom tower. And objects are up elsewhere. We see Pushover and Lubidium stepping on down. I think Lubidium maybe holds here to see if they can stop anyone going on to Pushover, but no. We do see now Pushover is the one in danger. It actually dodges Beachy Man's stun. Ultimately important if you're Pushover, and we see that Leap is being looked for. Who is going to get leapt? Also, Hogger did bottom. And actually, I do like the jump onto Pushover, leap onto Lubidium, as that is very much the person who will always get pulled out. You know where you need to be, so you can just jump onto them. Taz Dingo popped. I don't know if... I think it was there for Zul'jin. Zul'jin got very low there. What has happened to my leg? I feel like... I really have hurt myself somehow. I don't know how. What is the prize? Lime getting themselves injured. 10 out of 10. comedy writes itself sometimes. Alright, we see camp is being taken. Meanwhile, Li Ming going in an awkward position around tower, taking a few too many shots. And Crazy for Haruno is going to get that channel. And it will be 5 more shots going into the core of the red team. That Gravekeeper looking Sora and Sora. I really need to... I keep getting one of my emotes turned down. I have no clue why. Right, we do see there's a little bit of an awkward layover of the... Tavalla would have was already on way, but he randomly walked forward to take the extra damage first. Oh, okay. But right, we do see there was an awkward layering of Expulsion Zone and Blizzard. Sometimes it does happen. Mr. Hustler is stepping up a little bit too far. Remember, you're not a Calamity Li Ming Hustler. You don't necessarily want to walk into that. Meanwhile, we can see there's a decent amount of push going out hit mid. Lubidium holding in a position where they could potentially pull pushover. Pushover doesn't need it. Pushover rolls, and Mocho E goes down. And now Beachy Man is in the firing line next, but we're looking at a 6 cap here potentially for the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. And while neither of these two can make it very easily up here, they at least are doing their best to hold bottom, and we can see that they're doing very well thanks to that Zarya just slowing things down. Lubidium steps up, gets damaged. We do see Dahaka getting top. We are very much in a 6 cap zone. And finally, we see people coming around. We do see a stun coming out, double stun. Pushover in danger does get pulled out. Mr. Hustler isn't able to find the last bit of damage to take them out. But now we're in an awkward situation for Game of Thrones. You are taking potentially lethal damage here. There is 3 objectives up. There is for 6 towers for Cool Cats and Kittens. That's potentially 18 damage coming through. Realistically, you want someone to quickly cap this, and then you want to migrate up. You don't really even need this, but it looks like they want the fight. Which, fair enough, you have 16s. We see stun coming out. We see a large stun on chain onto Beowulf. Mr. Hustler is going to be in the back, trying to make sure they get damage out. Fala completes a stat quest, but we can see that it is the Sonya coming down, laser beam on top of the cocoon. We can see Zul'jin doing as much damage as he can. Horvath and Crazy for Haruno taking a lot, actually. Stun chain coming out. That is the Anubrak coming down. And now we've got Top Gun, Bella, and Mr. Hustler all in danger. We see Bella is next to go down. We see the Li Ming go down next. We see Crazy for Haruno on top of Top Gun. Top Gun send back in. They do get decent amount of damage on the Beowulf, but that is them. Not long left of the world. And just like that, the GGs are called. The tower shots come in, and that is the game and the series going over to the side of Cool Cats and Kittens. Well played, both teams. Well played. Let me go over to draft summary screen and see what we have next. Also, I'll say now, if it's anyone chat whose game wasn't casted this last week, I'll have a look at doing your replay. I will be doing 1 more after this, maybe 2, depending on how quick it is, because I will be having a live one later, which I will need to post about soon enough, and I do need a break before that, because I haven't actually eaten today. Anyway, we do have the stats here up. Dahaka and Sonya both doing very well in terms of siege. Dahaka just had a little bit extra time because they were able to wait before team fights, and we can see that did reflect a little with Sonya doing just a little bit more damage during those team fights. In terms of damage, Li Ming did a lot more than Vala. Vala was get very safe. However, Zarya did 40k as well. That burst protection as well was sustained from Lubidium. Xanduin did very well. So we do see it was 53k compared to 42. But that 42 is nothing to be get sneezed at by Tyrande, as Tyrande is pretty good in that regard. In terms of soak, we do see that 20k on the Dahaka and 15 on the Sonya. So Dahaka did spend a little bit more time in those lanes. Talents, anything that stands out? Not in particular to me. Zarya in general just stands out to me because you don't see Zarya very often. We did have that orb build, Li Ming, glass cannon orb build. But if she went the Calamity build, there's just a chance that something gets shielded. She's suddenly in the middle of the enemy team and you can't really kill anything. So yeah, all that really makes sense to me. I do like seeing spin build come out every now and again because it's not often you see spin build anymore. It is rare, to say the least. But right, let me throw it on over to the map view screen. And yeah, as I said, Cool Cats and Kittens did take it 2-1. Well played by them. Was a little bit rough at first. There was an excellent Probius in that first map by Pushover, if I may steal the build, use it for myself later. But that will be it for that series. Let's have a look at what we may have next in store for us, because I don't actually know who else there was. Let's refresh this page. Right. The website's thinking. Let's go to replay cast. Who's in this team? Who have I casted today? Division A. Division C? Okay, chat. Do we want a Division B match or do we want a Division C match? It's up to you. No worries, Lubidium. GG. Like, well played. That was a very fun series to watch. Anyone have a preference? Div B or Div C? Because I'll do it. I don't care. I'm doing another cast either way. Do I flip a coin? I'm actually just... I have a coin somewhere, right? Yeah, there's a coin. So heads, we're going Div C. Tails, we're going Div B. Sorry, give me a moment. It is heads. We are going to Div C this time. So it looks like I will be setting that up. Oh, there we go. Mixie Outro says Div C, please. So, okay. Everyone took too long. I flipped a coin before it could happen. So I'm going to put myself... on mute while I get that set up, because I actually forgot to mute myself last time. So I'll put on some music, put myself onto a I'll be back soon screen. But everyone who watched so far, I thank you all for being here. And I'll be back, hopefully, not too long.